Blue roses in Animal Crossing. They seem impossible to get for many, and the majority have given up on the task. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make green mums, along with blue roses in this special episode of Game of Thorns. What's up YouTube? It's Alexi Giovanni here, and welcome to my channel. Today I've got a special treat for you. So this is a breeding guide, but this is Game of Thorns. And we're not just concentrating on those blue roses, we're hoping to get the green mums as well, which can for some be a very difficult task. And as you can see here, winter is coming. I've saved you the hassle of watching flowers grow, so I've already sort of pre-bred these down and let them sit over a few days. So you can see that this could be done in two different ways. This orientation is using it left to right or sideways, or up and down. So I've got more space vertically, so I'll be using that layout, but this is just a way for me to have bred these in preparation for the video. It's worth noting that breeding blue roses in this game is the hardest thing to do. So I have created a guide which is in the description below for you to follow alongside the video so that you can see how it all comes together. And that's available to you free of charge. Welcome to Winter in Oak Tree. So I've already laid this out as per my suggestion. So you've got 3 different zones. The first zone are just pure seed whites. And these seed whites create 2 flowers. One is a white and the other one is a purple. The whites you don't want, so just throw them in the bin or sell them. The purples are the ones that you want from this zone 1. And please note that these purples are created at 25% of the time, so the whites will generate more often, so you want to bin those, but the purples are the ones you want to keep, and they're at 25% of the time. So when you have them, make sure you put them into this holding area and clone these as often as you get them. Which brings us to zone 2. And zone 2 has a bunch of yellow seeds and white seeds. And these themselves will create, again, 2 different types, either a yellow or a white. In this case, you don't want the yellows, but you want the whites. So get rid of the yellows out of offspring of this zone and keep the whites. You might notice that there are a few bins around the place, and I've got those there for a reason. It takes away the temptation of holding onto the flower more than you need to. Sure, you can make a few bells on the side, but get rid of the flowers you don't want. Later on, we will breed these special first generation whites and purples to create another special purple that we're looking for, but hold them for now. Zone 3, and this we've got reds with yellows. Both are from seed packets. These have already been pulled apart, so you can see it's a little bit light on here, but these will create 2 types of flowers. Either the yellows or oranges. Both are 50% of the chance, but you want to keep the oranges and get rid of the yellows. So again, bin it when you can. And those sections at the bottom there are what I call clone zones. So that's where you take the plants that you want and put them in isolation so that they clone each other, so that you can save yourself all this hassle. Now on to our next topic, which are the mums. So in this zone 1 we have yellow and red seed mums, which together breed 100% of the time a special first generation yellow mum. Now you put these here and have them cloned so that they're paired with another one eventually. Once you do get 2 of these yellow mums, they themselves will produce a purple of 2 different types, but generally whatever the combination of these 2 that they produce will give you that chance of a green mum. So both the yellows and the purples, in this case from zone 2 or 3, have a chance at green mums, but the green mums in this zone are at 25% of the chance. The thing I really love about this formation and this layout is that it promotes and encourages better watering. So in this case I'm using a golden watering can, and by standing at the tip there I'm actually watering 9 squares, which in this case waters all 6 flowers in the one hit. So all it takes is 4 pours in this row and I'm done. It's also worth noting that when you do this with a regular watering can, you can only water 6 squares. So you'd effectively water only 5 flowers depending on where you stand. But either way, if you were to do this every second row or every second sort of set of squares, you would take 6 pours. And I've used soil colouring on the floor just to help me understand what was a parent and what's a child. So anything that's in the snow in this case, I know it's a child. So look at the top right for a video that goes into detail about when you can breed these flowers and when they're mature enough. But this is a waiting game now, and so I'll have some people around to water. And the great thing about this layout is that you can do this completely offline, or if you have Switch Online, you can invite other people around to your island to increase your chances of getting offspring. But now we just wait until tomorrow and obviously have some people around and see what we get. So I'll see you tomorrow. So I've woken up this morning to find this many flowers thanks to the help from my guests. And so what we're doing here is looking at zone 1 to get rid of all the whites. Unfortunately we didn't get any purples in this day, so we're just going to bin these whites in zone 1 and onto zone 2. So in this zone we want to keep all the whites, so let's grab all the whites that we need. And thankfully we've got pairs of the yellows and whites which do create that 50% chance. In this case we've got a really good run of whites. Unfortunately we've run out of space, so I can only store the 3 and I'm going to bin the rest. Next I'm going to get rid of the yellows which we don't need in this zone, so let's have a look at all the yellows. So we've only got the 2, so I'm going to bin these straight away. Now it's time to head over to the third zone, and here we're looking for oranges, so let's grab all the oranges. In this case we only have the 1, so let's put here for future holding, and now we'll get rid of the yellows which we don't need in this zone. And again, bin it straight away. We've taken care of our roses now, so let's head and take care of our mums. So in this case we got clones out of these yellow mums that we had before. So that one's landed itself in the right place, that one's already good, and we'll move this right next to it. It would breed where it was, but I like to keep it in the same place. So in this case we've dealt with zone 2, so let's have a look at zone 1. So these would normally go from zone 1 to zone 2, but because we've already filled up all the spots, there's no point for those, so I'll clean up those later. And here we have ourselves a green mum. So whilst it's effectively 10 days since I've been breeding, I did get my first green mum in just 4 days. And here we've got another one. And it might take you longer if you're doing this by yourself, but if you do get help from your guests, you'll do this just as quick. Let's have a look and see what sort of roses we got out of these white seeds. They're all white. I'm expecting to get some purple. I had the worst luck with this lot. Here's another one. Out of all of them, 25% chance to get purple, I got all whites. Lucky I'm cloning in the other zone at the bottom there, in the clone zone. So despite my rotten luck, I am ready to move on to my next stage. So you would normally do this in another area if you've got the space for it. I don't have the space, our island's fairly well established, so I've only got this area to grow with. So what I'm doing is I'm converting area 1 into area 2. So I'm clearing all of the seeds out of the way, and I'm going to store them just in case I need to breed them again, because it does take 3 to 4 days for them to get to the point of breeding, and I'm clearing the space for zone 3 as well. So these zones for me will become zone 4, 5 and 6. But you're completely welcome to have 2 separate areas. You're better off doing that because that way you can keep going with the life cycle of these flowers. So if you have the space, go for it. And here I go, setting up zone 4 now with the output of zone 1 and 2. So zone 1 and 2 created our first generation purple and first generation whites. Now I'm pairing those 2 together into zone 4. And we'll be watching for any purples out of this zone. So if we get any purples, this is where we start testing with the seed yellows, which brings me on to this area where we've been testing the seed yellows together. So you can see that this pair have both created whites. So in this case, I'm going to mark the floor with a white spot to indicate that I had a white growth. And so for this one, I've had 2 whites in a row, and this one's only done the 1 so far. So again, we'll watch that for another 2 or 3 days for each one of these respectively. And once they do create whites consistently, that's enough indication for me to bin those purples and start again and leave that spot for anything out of zone 4. And I can just see a snippet of a yellow rose out of this pairing. That is awesome. That means that we've now got a great purple. It's a good purple. It's not the one that we're going to throw away. And even better is that we've actually got another clone. So we used a clone originally to clone one so that we knew the result. Not only have we walked away with 2, we're walking away with 3 good purples. So this is a brilliant outcome. So I'm going to snatch these good purples and I'm going to put them into the holding zone or the clone zone of zone 4 now. So we're one step closer to putting these into another zone so that we can get a little bit closer to those blue roses. So I'm just going to clear some space so I can place these here. And because I've only got the 3, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place these in each of the corners so that when I do have people around to water, they will clone. They're completely separate. There's nothing next to them, so I know that they'll clone. And so hopefully if all goes well, tomorrow I'll have gone from 3 to 6. And now I've got a spare slot there to put another purple rose. So this is one I've been holding for another day. And so we can repurpose that spot that's been vacated by the good rose to test again for tomorrow. And it's also important that that yellow that was produced out of that pairing really is just testing. I don't need it, you don't need it, so just bin it. So aside from the holes all over the place, once I can cover those over, I'm going to have a few people around. Now we're going to get them to see if we can get some purples from tomorrow. So let's have a great night's sleep and wake up tomorrow morning and see what we get. See you tomorrow. So it's the start of a brand new day, and let's have a look at what we've gotten overnight. So it looks like we've got a couple of purple roses, which is what we wanted from this zone 4. And we've actually had 2 clones from that cloning section, which is great. I was hoping for 3, but 2 is pretty good. And what we can look at is to see how we're going with our testing. So out of these 2 pairs, we've got another 2 whites, so I'll mark the ground again with the respective spots. So I've got 1 more day on the one on the right and 2 more days on the one on the left. So with any luck, that'll either tell us it's going to be a bad or a good purple. I'm hoping for a good one. You never know. It could take 4 days to actually see it breed or spawn a yellow. And a reminder of what we're hoping for in zone 4 here are the purples. So I'm getting rid of all the whites that we got, just in case. I don't want to mix it up. And we'll just clear the slate of all the bad stuff. So we'll get rid of all the white roses here. And once we've gotten those, we will head towards getting the purples and extracting those out for testing. So because these cloned overnight, I'm going to place them in the very corner so that if they do breed again or clone tomorrow, I'll be able to hopefully get 4 in this case. Since we have an excess, I'm going to plant in preparation for zone 5. And eventually these will be paired together, so if they clone tomorrow morning, I'll clone them again and keep cloning until I have enough to breed together. So because I don't have enough space, I'm just going to borrow this area for the clone zone of zone 5, just to see if we can get some more good purples. Since it's going there unused anyway, so I may as well make the space. And you might be thinking, what am I doing with all these oranges? These will be used in zone 5 when the time is right, so I'm going to get as many of these as I possibly can so that I can use them with the good purples that we've been breeding from the testing. And using creative and strategic plucking here, I'm going to hopefully fill this area by tomorrow morning so we've got a full bed here of oranges that we can use in zone 5. I'm off to get these watered and I'll see you tomorrow. Well, tomorrow is here and it's day 13, so we've managed to fill up the oranges and got another 3 out of a potential 4 second gen purples, and we'll use those for zone 5 and another clone here as well. So first let's take stock of the testing area so that we can potentially clear up the space for the purples from zone 4. And again, I'm going to start marking the ground with the offspring results. So there's another couple of whites which I'll mark the ground. And you'll see the testing that we're doing at the bottom there are maxed out. So tomorrow, if we get another white, those purples are out. I'm going to grab the purples that we got out of zone 4 now, just in preparation for some more testing. So I'll backfill that hole. And now I'll place the good second generation purples to hopefully double the amount tomorrow. So I'll start to place those into zone 5. And I'm also starting to convert zone 5 from where I originally converted it from zone 2. We now have more than enough green mums here, so I'm going to start to unfortunately bin these ones just to make space for zone 6 as we prepare for the next stage. And this is what zone 5 looks like, all cleaned up now, and we're going to eventually do the same into zone 6, so it'll look very, very similar. I'm going to clean up these purple mums now just to make space for zone 6, and soon enough it'll all be cleaned up. There you have it, zone 6 has all been converted, so both zone 5 and zone 6 look the same. So now we just have to water. Time to get some people around, so we'll just keep repeating this process until we have plenty of these great second generation purples. See you tomorrow. As I was preparing to get people around, I did notice that I did have enough already of these good purples, so I'm going to move the oranges that we had out of zone 3 to pair them with the purples in zone 5 now that we've got enough. So here at the top section, so this is in area 5A, I'm pairing the oranges from zone 3 with the output of zone 4 after testing. So these are the good purples that we've tested with the yellows. So at the top section in 5A, I'm pairing it with the oranges, and in the bottom section, so in 5B, I'm pairing it with itself. So these are two of the exact same purple, or the good purples, and we're hoping that tomorrow we'll get some whites with the purples pairing. So this is the new day, and lo and behold, we've actually got an orange. So this is a really good result out of the purple and orange pairings. The fact that we got an orange is really good, and here the purples that we got out of these pairings actually can be retested. So it's almost the same as getting the output of zone 4 without having to go through that purple and white pairing. So now I'm just going to clean up the output of these so you can see, oops, broken shovel. I'm looking forward to having my golden shovel so I don't break as often. But these flowers here have produced whites 3 days in a row, so now I'm going to bin those purples. They're no good. They're obviously not going to produce a yellow. So that's good enough reason for me. Now I'm going to grab the purples out of zone 4 and pair them with the yellows to test them again. And I've just rearranged this because I had another clone. And I'll mark the floor as normal just to keep track of the output of each and every day. So these purple pairings that I've got together, these actually produce 2 purples, which is the same as the output of zone 4. So I can put these straight away and start testing them with the yellows again. And so I'm repurposing the clone zone, since I've got nothing there anyway, so I may as well see if we can get some good purples out of this again. So before we have people around, I'm going to quarter this off so there's no confusion as to which flowers produce what. They're all going to be in their isolation chambers. Since we've used all of the orange now, we've got a place for them in zone 5. I'm going to pull up these oranges, probably store them away somewhere else, and use this in preparation for the next phase. So this is really getting exciting. We're getting close to those darned blue roses. This is the next day, and we've got some more oranges, which is absolutely awesome. The luck for getting these is quite rare in the sense that it's 12.5% to get these good oranges. So again, I'm just going to clean up a little bit here in the testing area where these pairings have created a few whites. So we just test them for a few more days and monitor and see how we go. It's time for us to clean up zone 5A. So we're getting rid of all the non-oranges there because we only want oranges out of 5A. And now that we've got rid of all that, now we can start planting those oranges into zone 6A. And I'm going to place them there so that we can get some clones when we get some people around. So I'm hoping that we go from 4 to 8 at best case, but anything in excess is great. Welcome to day 16. Let's have a look at what we got. So in this 5B section, we actually got 2 white roses, which is brilliant. It means we can move that from 5B into the area in 6A. So as soon as we pair those, the orange with these whites, that to me is the power couple of this rose setup. as soon as you get that special, ultra special orange and ultra special white, those will continuously create either one of themselves or an ultra special red, which bred together will give you 25% chance of a blue rose. How awesome is that? So let's grab ourselves these awesome whites and pair them and unite them with these oranges that we've been working towards for so long now. So let's put these guys together. These will create 4 different types of flowers. They'll create an orange, which is an identical copy of themselves, a white, again another identical copy of themselves, a ultra special red, which is the jackpot of this breeding process. Those reds will give you the 25% of blues, and the last one will be the yellows, which you just chuck away. So 3 out of 4 flowers are brilliant to have with this power couple. And given that we have enough of these oranges, I'm pairing a couple of these together to again give you that little bit of chance. I think it's 6% chance of a blue rose, so that's at the bottom there. As time goes on and we get a couple more whites, we'll pair these again to create more of these power couples. So let's have a look at what we got today. So in zone 5B, and I'm borrowing 6B for 5B, it looks like we got 2 whites, which is awesome. So for of these 2, they produce 50% whites and 50% purples. And here in zone 5A, we've got some reds, and these are ones that we're just going to get rid of anyway. But have a look at what's in 6A. This is the holy grail of flowers when it comes to blue roses. This is an ultra special red rose, which when bred together with itself will actually produce blue 25% of the time. That is the highest percentage that you could possibly get for blue roses. So what we're going to do is grab this red rose, and I'm going to move it into zone 4 and convert that to zone 7. And again, I've done that only because I don't have space. So I'm going to dig up a few of these in time and move that red rose over there so we can clone it. Let's get started on cleaning this up. So I'm only going to clean up the first portion there because we've only got space for the 1 rose, but all I really need is 2 or more to create that chance of getting some blue roses. So I'll clean up this area now. You can watch me do it if you like, or just skip through. But once I've got this area cleaned up, I'm going to bin these roses and grab that ultra special red rose, which I'm so excited about. You should be excited too. Let's go and grab this red rose, where I think we need some divine sounds to pick this out. So now we've got this red rose. Oh good. So let's move this into zone 7. And again, you'd be using this if you've got the space to an extra area so that you keep going with each and every one of these zones. But I'm just going to repurpose zone 4 in this case. And I'm going to have people water this place and see what else we get tomorrow. Now before we finish though, I need to tidy up this area. So since we've got a couple of extra clones of these oranges, which are extra special, so 2nd generation oranges, we're going to move these around. So I'm going to pair these 2 up together. So again, these give us a chance of a blue as well. Lower chance than 25%, but still a chance. And now I'll take the whites that we got out of effectively zone 5B. So there's 2 whites there, which will be paired with these oranges. So that extra pair, the power couple, will possibly produce another red tomorrow. So if we do, we'll move them into section 7 or zone 7 and wish and hope that we're all good to get a couple more and get those blue roses. See you tomorrow. Good morning, YouTube. Here we have day 18, and let's have a look at what we got. So out of 5B, we managed to get another 2 white roses, which will pair into the power couple area in the 6A area. And we got ourselves another red. Power couple delivers again. So we're going to take those into zone 7. And we actually got another clone from the existing red that we had. So I'm going to separate these with at least 1 space apart so that they will clone when I have some people around. And I'll move that one over as well into zone 7. Again, I'll clean this area up as soon as I get a chance, so all these purples and whites will unfortunately go in the bin. They've done their job. And now I'll start to clean this area up so that we've got no confusion when it comes to watering. And I'll get rid of these flowers that we don't want. So these yellows we won't need, but I'm going to use this area and start to expand on 6A to get more of those power couples. I'm planting another power couple here, and it kills me to see it that they're mismatched in terms of the other flower orientation, but we'll fix that when we get a chance. So I'm going to grab these white roses that we've created from this 5B area, and I'm going to pair it with another one of these special oranges. Again, we're going to expand from 5 to 6 power couples. So with each and every day, we're increasing our chances that little bit more to get those blue roses. Just remember that the oranges paired together, these special oranges, do have, oops, placed that in the wrong spot, let's fix that. When you do have those two oranges together, they do still have a chance, a 6-point-something% chance out of getting blue roses. So we still want to keep those, but these power couples are the ones that keep reproducing and producing the oranges, whites, and potentially the reds, all of which are awesome to have. I've changed up zone 6 a little bit to maximize that space in that diagonal format to get as many flowers in there as possible, and this 6B area will still create those orange pairs, and I've extended this area now to reserve it for mass production of these reds when the time comes to create those blues. That's it for this day. I'm going to have some people around to water the flowers, and let's see if we can get some blues tomorrow. See you then. Day 19, let's have a look at what we have. So we got one extra rose, white rose, from the two areas at 5B and 6B. And it looks like the power couple have created some more copies of themselves, so orange and white roses, which we'll put down to the bottom there. And we've managed a couple more of the jackpot reds, which I'll keep together there, and I'll separate that one by itself so we get another copy of itself. So hopefully day 20 is the day where we get the blue rose. Here's hoping. Of all these pairings, the orange and white roses are the best because they give you 3 of the good roses. So I can just use these copies to extend this area in 6A. The output of 6B only produces whites and blues that we want to keep. Anything else, like in this case orange, we just bin. However, in 5A, we can keep the oranges, which I'll transfer into 6B. And again, we'll keep increasing our chances to get that blue. And the two B zones both produce whites, which we want to keep. So I'll keep that in my pocket. And I've rearranged 5A here to get better output of the white roses that we extend 6A with. Now it's water time. Hoping tomorrow is blue day. It's now day 20. Let's have a look to see what is here for us today. So we've got a few of the oranges in 6B. 6A is produced another red with power couples and more of themselves in the whites and the oranges. We're less caring about those now. Right now, our attention is on that little blue snippet that you can see right at the top of the screen. It's blue roses. The red ultra specials created those blue roses for us, and 25% of the time. So we had 2 pairs actually create 2 blue roses. You can't beat that. So it's been a long, huge, long journey. Thank you for sticking around with me. This is a guaranteed method to get to your blue roses. So follow this step by step and you will be pleased. You will get the results that you want. I still think you can beat this. 20 days is pretty mediocre. I reckon you could do it in way less than that. I think I was just very, very unlucky in the first 6 days not getting those purples that I really wanted from zone 1. So let me know. Use this method. Tell me, how long did it take you to get your blue roses? Because sometimes you could get the blue roses from those orange pairings, the special ones in 6B, so you never know. So thanks again for the journey. Hopefully you got at least one thing out of this video, if not more, so please give the video a like, comment, do subscribe if you do like this content, and do comment to see how you went. Let me know. And curiosity did get the better of me, and given it was a very, very early day start for that day when we did get the blue roses, this is the day after just to see what else we got. So I was hopeful that we would get eventually the blue roses out of the oranges. They didn't deliver, but the reds delivered again, day after day, back to back. And as a result of our cloning, we got another blue rose. So suddenly we've gone from 0 blue roses up to now 4. And this is Alexi Giovanni signing off. Until next time, see ya!